you go first or do I go?
And he may look familiar to some of you. He may look familiar to some of you. Am I saying that right?
This is my brother Brandon. He may look familiar to some of you, and I'm gonna let him tell you why.
If you're an MMA fan or gone to any local MMA shows, you probably noticed me as one of the refs or the judges walking around, including the UFC when they were here. Thank you very much. Some other people may recognize me from the Star Wars world. Licensed Star Wars illustrator. I've done Comic-Con, stuff like that. And I teach at Macomb Community College, so some of you may recognize me from there.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
1999 North American Judo Champion.
Yeah, but that wasn't, when I was fighting, it wasn't a big deal.
I'm counting it.
You will also recognize me from a movie project that I've been working on or been co-starring in. My mentor in illustration, Matt Bush, asked me to be in his movie, Aladdin 3477, which is now going to be 3 movies split up. But I've been working on that since 2014. The first movie's getting ready to launch in just a few months, so be on the lookout for that. Go on YouTube, go on Facebook, Aladdin 3477, like it, share it.
I have one more thing that I know you're super famous for.
Okay, what?
Number 7, Brittany's older brother.
Oh yeah, that's right. I get that a lot.
Yeah.
You should hear all the times when I'm, at fights. Oh my God, are you Brittany's brother? And I'm like, oh yeah, thanks for noticing me. When I'm giving autographs and doing stuff like that, I sign it, Brittany's brother. Here is my Aladdin 3477 movie card. And on the back it tells a little bit about me, but it's got a little area for my signatures. So I'm gonna sign this one, Britt's big brother. Because that's how I sign most of them.
Woo! All right, I'm done here. I'm gonna let him go through all of his many achievements in life and let him give you just a breakdown of what he's been up to.
Hey everybody, my name, Brandon Gallo. I'm Brittany's oldest brother. There's a 15-year age gap, so quite a bit older brother. All right, to describe me, first you would have to say I get into what I like a lot. But to what I've been doing lately and some of my success, I owe it 100% to my daughter. Peyton Rose, this is my dog Leia, she's no longer with us. But in 2010, when my daughter was born, I wasn't happy with my job. I didn't mind my job, but I wasn't happy with some of the people that were my bosses. And I never wanted to introduce my daughter and have to say, look, this is my boss. So I knew I had to do something, and going to school was that something. So I decided to go for a degree in communications where I could still use some of my artistic background. Before I graduated, one of my teachers, Matt Bush, famous Star Wars illustrator, got me involved with illustrating Star Wars cards for Tops. They send me cards and then I have to draw on them. I was doing the cards, I was working full time and going to school, but hard work never hurt anybody, and I'm glad I did that. It taught me a lot about myself. Graduating from school, getting a part in the movie, drawing from Star Wars, I knew that I could do a lot of things. So one of my goals was to put my feet inside the octagon. Now the octagon is the UFC's trademark cage. I've been inside many cages for fights, but I'd never made it to the octagon. So I knew I had to. One way to get there was to be a cut man. Big shout out to Donofrio Productions for giving me my first shot as a cut man. And I thought, well, I could get the UFC doing that. And then a referee didn't show for one of their shows, so I was the referee and the cut man. Now I'm refereeing more than anything. I'm judging MMA fights all around the state. And when the UFC came here in December, of course, I had a long history with the State Athletic Commission, so they referred me to the UFC, and they used me and one of my best friends, Vance, as inspectors. Now, it led to pretty much nothing, except I get to see myself on TV every once in a while.
Those problems in his last fight.
Let's hope these guys. Oh, right away.
Push kick right to the face, right away.
And a nice punch, hell of a punch.
There's a reason why he's called Showtime, ladies and gentlemen, and he gets a first round stoppage. Joe Dean is still all messed up. He took Brandon Gallows down.
He's over the ring and choke on Brandon Gallows. This is serious.
But I know I'm going to get there, it's just a matter of when. I did get my feet into the octagon. For the main event, I was the in-cage commissioner, so I knocked that goal out. My main goal now is to be a ref for the UFC. I won't stop refereeing till me and my good buddy Vance referee in the UFC together. I've really been able to do a lot, and I think my daughter has seen that. Even though she rolls her eyes at me and like, oh gosh, here's dad again when I give my cards out or stuff like that. But she'll tell her friends that, yeah, my dad works for the UFC, draws for Star Wars, he's a college professor. It's rubbing off. Another good thing that came out of school was when I graduated high school, I was deemed a security risk because I started a food fight on the last day of school. It was very well orchestrated and it was a very good food fight, but my punishment was not getting to go to commencements. I didn't really care, it wasn't that big a deal. My mom was kind of pissed because she didn't get to see me walk the stage on my high school graduation. Fast forward 20 years and she got to see me walk through college graduation with top honors. So she was pretty proud.
So was your sister?
Yeah, and my sister was too. So when I was going to school, I got noticed. I had some skill and my hard work made me flourish in that department. My professor, Matt Bush, mentored me and took me under his wing, pretty much got me involved in doing Star Wars cards. And I've done some Comic Cons. I'd like to show some of my work. This is my favorite because not a lot of people know who Grand Moff Tarkin is, or at least a lot of people didn't know until the new movie came out. He was always one of my favorite characters, and that's Darth Vader in the background, obviously, with the Death Star and Alderaan. This one's is just a pencil drawing of my favorite Star Wars character, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Old Obi-Wan Kenobi, not the young Ewan McGregor. And I do not so Star Wars stuff. Here's my Weird Al montage, accordion hero, white and nerdy, just because I think Weird Al's funny and he cracks me up. Here is Indiana Jones and the Carillion Falcon, where Indiana Jones and his father get to pilot the Millennium Falcon with Chewie and Leia. So I had this great idea. I was going to do a Comic-Con, and I was going to do posters of some of my friends who are bigger MMA stars here in Michigan. And so this one is my good friend Brendan Sibling, the Caucasian Devastation. I thought I was going to make money hand over fist by making posters of him and having him sign them, and also myself selling them. It didn't go over so well. It's still one of my favorite posters that I made. Hoth is hot. Wanted to bring sexy Leia. That didn't sell so well either, too many kids, you know. This one was one of my best sellers. I did all my favorite characters, which the only prequel character was Darth Maul. This is all computer generated art here, but the Rebel Alliance sign and the Imperial insignia, kind of my yin and yang. This is an ink study. I've always loved this picture because it was just from a photo shoot from Star Wars, never in the movie. It showed Princess Leia kind of being scared. Well, we all know that she was actually pretty badass in the movie. So. And here we go again with the hot chicks and Vader. May have made their bosoms a little bigger, but I think I got it right. And this was one of my favorite drawings because it was hot chicks again, but this was a total ink study. I don't even know who the characters are, but I just thought it was a really cool ink study. That's that, and like I said, I do different sets for Star Wars. They send me the cards all printed, and I draw them on front. So when you say that you're a licensed Star Wars illustrator, people think that money just comes in by the truckloads. That's not the case. I get paid very little to do the cards, but pretty cool thing to do. It's been a great ride. I've got to do a lot of stuff. I know I'm still not done with it, but I'm focusing more on my fighting now. So when I was 19, 20, right around then, I was lifting weights, and as most people, and as I still do, I hated cardio. Who doesn't hate cardio, right? So I turned to martial arts to get my cardio in. This tells you a little bit of how long ago that was. I looked in the phone book to find a boxing gym. Boxing gyms weren't really available, but karate studios were a dime a dozen. So I said, hey, karate's gotta be better than boxing, right? So I started with karate. So I wasted about a year and a half, 2 years getting my black belt in Taekwondo, and one of my friends from work said, hey, come to Jiu-Jitsu with me. I decided to go with my friend. I was 24, I think, and one of the ballet students stayed over, and he was practicing Jiu-Jitsu as well. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo at the time, and the instructor said, hey, why don't you spar with, I forget his name, but he was 15 years old, and me, I thought, oh, I'm gonna hurt this kid. But I reluctantly started to spar with him, and he took me right down, choked me out in less than a minute. We went at it again, and I said, well, I can't let that happen again. He got lucky. Yeah, the exact same thing happened. So I decided if you can't beat him, join him. And I learned that my black belt in Taekwondo wasn't nearly as valuable as I thought it was, and started over from scratch. And I've been doing judo and jiu-jitsu on and off since then. I was doing really good in local judo tournaments. So I took judo about as far as I was gonna be. I was gonna be a decent local judoka, but that was about it. I was always a fan of MMA, so I was on the couch and I was telling him, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, and I decided, well, how can I tell them what to do when I've never gotten in there? So me and a couple of my friends went to the very first UFC that was legal in Nevada. I caught the bug again and wanted to start training really hard again, and that's where I found MASH Fight Team with my instructor James Lee, and I've been doing MMA off and on ever since then, since 2001. I got to be a pro fighter, but I knew it was never going to be my job, never going to be more than a really big hobby that I took way too far. When I say too far, I mean I can't touch my shoulders, can't bend my arms. That's the full range of motion for my arms. Little cauliflower ear. In judo, you do a lot of grabbing and grips, so I've broken every finger, every toe. When I broke my thumb last, my arthritis that I've had ever since I was in my 20s attached to there and started a bone spur on my thumb. But I wanted to stay in the game. When I was still in school, I started being a cut man for a lot of the shows. I was actually cornering a fighter at the Palace of Auburn Hills, and the cut man didn't show. So they were asking around if anybody knew how to be a cut man. I did, and they paid me, and Joe Donofrio for Donofrio Productions liked what I did. So I was the new cut man for the company until a ref didn't show up for one of the local fights, and I reffed and was the cut man. I've been reffing for Donofrio Productions ever since. During that time, MMA became legal in Michigan and sanctioned. So now the promoters get to pick their own refs, and I either ref just about every show or I'm a judge at just about every show in Michigan. Like I said, I'll get to the UFC as a ref. It's just a matter of time, but I'm pursuing that actively now. I'm going to Indiana to get certified with the National Boxing Commission, so it'll be an accolade that I can tell promoters for out of state. While doing all this, I'm still filming Aladdin 3477. I did my very first Comic-Con. That Sunday I loaded up my stuff from Comic-Con, came home and went up to the sand dunes up north and started filming Aladdin 3477, where I play Bang. I'm one of Aladdin's thieves and part of his gang. Doesn't differ too much from the Arabian Nights version of Aladdin, but it's set in 3477, way in the future. The first movie's coming out in early 2019. I can't tell too much what's gonna happen there, but check it out. So I'm still doing that. I still film when I can. It's gotta be hard for my mentor, Matt, to get everything together, and just so many different things have to go together for a movie. Even if I wasn't in it, it was a great experience to see how a movie gets made and how much work goes into it. Also, I'm a substitute professor at Macomb Community College, like I said. I do that part-time because I can't do it a lot. If they offered me full-time, yeah, that'd be great, but it's a hierarchy that I have to wait my turn, and I started late, so I'll probably never be a full-time instructor there, but I still like to help out when I can. I still have my full-time job, 9 to 5, but that doesn't give me as many accolades, but it does give me a paycheck.
Like I was saying, my brother is pretty interesting. So imagine being this guy's little sister.
I mean, it's got to be pretty hard for her living in my shadow. I feel sorry for her.
That's not a joke.
No.
Literally, my whole life.
Yeah.
Brandon didn't do that. Brandon did do that. Brandon this, Brandon that. He says I'm the favorite. Not convinced.
I was Grandma and Grandpa's favorite.
True.
She was Mom's favorite.
I'll give you that. As much as I like to make fun of my brother and say that I'm the cooler one, I don't think I can compete with that. He's a pretty awesome dude.
I can't argue.
I love him.